It is unbelievable what is happening in California right now. An American jewel of a city is in ashes. The Palisades area of Los Angeles is burning. House after house after house of one of our most precious areas is on fire. And residents have been under a mandatory evacuation order, including, folks who are my dear friends. One of my best friends is out there. Her house is gone.
This is personal to Megyn Kelly. She's going to really get into this on the Megyn Kelly show. This segment's going to be about two things. Megyn Kelly's going to lead the way on this being an indictment of the woke. The woke is over. There's no recovering from wokeism in this country. That's a good thing. It's done. And I think this is the kind of the unfortunate way that it had to end. Megyn Kelly is going to talk about that. We're going to break down also the magnitude of the rebuild. It is devastating. We just found out today, January 12th on Sunday, that now there's up to 24 people unlived. Megyn Kelly on the Megyn Kelly show. And in a sad way, we are kind of commemorating the end of DEI and wokeism.
Brian Friedman, who was on the show yesterday, evacuated. These are our fellow Americans who have been forced out of their homes because these predictable Santa Ana winds came, and the local officials apparently would not do what was necessary to be done to protect the residents from the foreseeable risk of fire. There are 3 massive wildfires burning right now, being flamed by Santa Ana winds topping 60 miles an hour. It is so windy that firefighting aircraft are not able to fly in many cases. Nearly 100,000 people are under these mandatory evacuation orders. At least 13,000 structures are under threat. The video is absolutely horrifying. Take a look at this tape here as a fire swarmed a home. For the listening audience, it is right outside this guy's patio. He's inside his living room, and the flames are right on the other side of floor-to-ceiling windows and sliding glass doors.
You gonna be okay? Hi? You gonna be okay? Oh, shit. Don't worry about that, dude. Look at that. Oh, shit.
If you're just listening, this is a guy inside his home. You might have seen this. It looks like a scene from some type of type movie flick where it's nighttime and literally all surrounding his house are flames that look to be over 10 feet tall. It's just dark. You don't know what's behind them. It just looks like the whole place is about to go to blaze at any second. One of the craziest videos of any type of disaster I've ever seen.
Yeah, the plastic is gone, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck.
The plastic is the least of their concerns at this moment. Okay, that gives you the flavor, but it is an incredibly dangerous thing to have been in that home at that moment. The person who shared the clip goes by Kevin Dalton. That's his name on X. That clip's already been seen more than 2 million times by early Wednesday. It was also used by the Daily Mail as their lead this morning. Kevin said in an update, "I am told the dog and both of his humans were able to safely evacuate the property." That's as much as we know there. Let's hope Kevin is correct. When you see the video, for the listening audience, you don't even know where these two folks who are talking inside and that dog are going to run. Where, the house seems to be engulfed. One side seems a little less engulfed than the other, but it makes you wonder how on earth this happened. But the winds take the fire so quickly from home to home, it can happen in an instant, which is why the cities issue these mandatory evacuation orders. The wildfires began so quickly that many, many people were caught off guard. And when the roadways became impassable, people just abandoned their cars to flee on foot. Look at this tape here. You see a bulldozer bulldozing the vehicles that were just left in the road out of the way so that, emergency vehicles and others can get through. One woman who abandoned her car told News Nation that police came up to her and said, "Get out of your car, run for your life, and head toward the ocean." You can believe it. Going back to that first video we showed, and if you're just listening, go check us out on youtube.com later. You'll see it right at the top of the show. You wonder, all I could think was just at least open the doors and let the dog run for his life, because a dog would know what to do. His instincts would take him away from the fire, and he could probably outrun some extent of it. Run toward the ocean seems like a good idea. Fox's Charles Payne tweeted out this photo and wrote, "I'm descending into LAX right now, and I can smell the fire. Many on this flight in panic or heartbroken, knowing their homes are already gone." And listening audience, what you see here is an aerial of Los Angeles up against the water. And The top third of the photo is in flames.
It reminds me of these movies. I was talking about these dystopia type of sci-fi movies. Only the Brave. It was, they didn't embed in cars in there, but there was real life firefighters battling. That was from 2017, battling this crazy wildfire. The Day After Tomorrow, a disaster flick, had a lot of scenes of mass evacuations, abandoned buildings, stream, in the context of extreme weather, but not wildfires. But then Leave the World Behind, that just came out in 2023. That's the one where they left all their Teslas. And that literally happened out there in LA. Let's get back to Megyn Kelly on the Megyn Kelly Show. Everybody's been talking about this, from Tim Pool to Benny Johnson to name your favorite influencer. They've been talking about it. It's crazy.
The top third. If you've been to LA, and I know we all rip on California for all sorts of good reasons, but we actually love our brothers and sisters in California, and absolutely don't want to see this kind of danger or carnage unleashed.
I love all fellow citizens that share a close enough interpretation of the Bill of Rights as I do, and they exist all over the place. But it doesn't matter. I live in a state that is blue, and that's a choice. And you've got to be able to own up to your choices. This is not the time where I would even really be worried about this, other than Megyn Kelly bringing it up and other people bringing it up. But we do. I don't live in California. I can't care about California or LA more than they do. So if they don't care about Newsom, I don't care about Newsom. If they don't care about Karen Bass, I don't care about Karen Bass. If they don't care about their wokeism, I don't care about their wokeism. But I did see Khloe Kardashian speak out against Karen Bass, the mayor. The wokeism can't go anymore. This is right off of the election, and that's why people voted Trump. People voted Trump. It wasn't really that many people could even articulate why. Trump said common sense. This is what we see here, is a lack of common sense. Your effing city is right next to a large body of water. I don't care if it's salt water. You can figure out, trust me, if we have money to send to the funny countries all over this world, we have enough money to figure out how to deal with salt water, how to be able to use it in an emergency when we have homes right on the water like that. They should have some type of emergency sprinkler system set up all throughout there just in case. This is not something new. Donald Trump called it in 2017 or even before that, all the way up to he was talking about it in 2021. Joe Rogan literally called it on his show. You can look that up. I forgot what year it was, but it was a while back. He literally detailed this exact scenario. He said a firefighter came to him and said that if the winds are right, that whole thing is going to blaze. There's nothing we can do about it. Joe Rogan said that on his show, on record. There's nothing surprising about this. It's straight up the scenario where you get into the airplane and there's a DEI pilot and you think, yeah, it's okay. I like diversity. That's what happened to their leaders from the local level, from the water management to the mayor to the congressmen and women. Adam Schiff and he's going to be he's a senator now. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine that. Adam Schiff, a senator now, was asked about a 117 million gallon reserve that was dry and empty during the peak of their wind season. He was asked about that on one of the political shows. He turned his answer into he answered a whole different question, didn't even answer it. They're playing with your lives. I can't care about you more than you care about yourself.
On them. And what you're seeing right now is part of one of our jewels. Yes, Los Angeles, which has got a long history and a beautiful one in many ways in this country, on fire and burning to the ground. You got Venice, you got Santa Monica, you got Palisades. And the Palisades, I don't know whether they will still be there when this is done. In Pasadena, senior citizens were rushed out of a senior living facility. Imagine this. Some still in their hospital beds. What were they going to do? What was the alternative? They had to get them out. As this fire rages, so does the anger among the residents who are saying that while wildfires are not uncommon in California, the state's disgusting mismanagement going back for decades is indeed partly to blame here for these fires not being better contained. The city's mayor, Karen Bass, is in Ghana right now.
That's wild, y'all. Give a like, comment on the channel. Let me know what you think. Do you know people out in LA? What do you think about these stories here? The mayor was in another country, another continent, in Ghana. The mayor of LA Let me know what you think.
She's on her way back now, but she's not even in the country. The LA Times reporting that firefighters have been radioing their stations with reports that the hydrants were dry in the Pacific Palisades. Firefighters couldn't get water. It makes it really tough to fight the fires, especially when the winds are so bad that you can't take the aircraft up to do it from overhead. The fire hydrants were dry, which was a risk they reportedly knew about, a problem the city reportedly knew about, but failed to fix. Real estate developer Rick Caruso, who ran against Karen Bass for mayor, he called himself a Dem, but it was pretty clear this guy was about as close as you could get to a Republican in California running for office, right? You have to say you're a Dem to win for Los Angeles and mayor. So he called himself a Dem, but he was an independent, basically. He was an outsider. And the way he talked sounded much more red than it did blue. And he lost. Elon Musk had endorsed him, but that union vote came in late in the game, and before you knew it, Karen Bass had pulled out a victory. So Rick Caruso went on local TV and raged about this fire hydrant issue. Take a listen.
They can't fight a fire without water and the resources that are needed. Everybody knew these winds were coming. The real issue to me is twofold. We've had decades to go remove the brush in these hills that spreads so quickly. And the second is, you got to have water. And my understanding is the reservoir was not refilled in time and in a timely manner to keep the hydrants going. And it's all about leadership and management that we're seeing a failure of. And all of these residents are paying the ultimate price for that.
The LA Times reported that in November, right, we're beginning of January, in November, the lack of water from hydrants was also to blame for the difficult efforts combating the mountain fire in Ventura County. They have been aware that there's an issue with the water not being in the fire hydrants. And what did the LA mayor do to protect her citizens? Well, we'll get back to you when she gets back from Ghana and someone has the chance to ask her.
Yikes.
As if all of this is not enough, it turns out that in recent years, LA's fire chief has made not filling the fire hydrants top priority, but diversity. Diversity is at least among the top priorities for the department.
When we said that DEI is going to get you DIE, we were not joking. Back to Megyn Kelly on the Megyn Kelly Show on the LA fires.
Been fire chief since 2022. And in an interview shortly after she was elevated to this position, she talked about being super inspired to make the fire department more diverse.
I am super inspired.
She took time out of her already busy schedule to tell us about her vision for the department's future, one that includes a 3-year strategic plan to increase diversity.
People ask me, well, what number are you looking for? I say, I'm not looking for a number. It's never enough.
Out of 3,300 city firefighters, only 115 are women right now. When it comes to inclusivity and diversity at this department, she's a proud member of the LGBTQ community.
That just kind of opens the door of people that thought, wow, I didn't even know that that was an opportunity for me.
Who gives a shit if the fire chief is gay? I'm sorry, but who gives a flying fig about who she likes to sleep with? Can you fight the fucking fires, madam? That's the relevant question. We don't care about your lady parts, and we don't care who you want having access to them. Can you fight fires? Can you make sure there's water in the fire hydrants? When you realize in Ventura County, this is a massive problem. When you realize that California is going through a drought where they haven't had rain in weeks and months, I don't care who turns you on. And you know why they have only 100 women in a squad of 3,300? Because women tend to be smaller and not as strong. And unless you lower the requirements to become a firefighter, most women can't pass the test. Trust me when I tell you that someone my size cannot run into a building and rescue someone even Doug's size. Never mind an Arnold Schwarzenegger, who actually happens to live in LA or California at least. This is an absurdity. This is just like the Secret Service and what happened with Trump. We
Let her cook.
Needed all these women in there who weren't even tall enough to protect the 6'3" president.
This is pure insanity. Megyn Kelly just completely lost it. This is out of character for her, and I have no problem with it. This is good character for her. It's good to be out of character. We'll end with the cleanup and kind of the aftermath. That's kind of the story that I'm interested at this point. Of course, The fires are still going on, so that hopefully everybody's doing okay. Material things, no matter how difficult, how costly, that's not as much as not as important as your health and family and friends. Rebuilding efforts. Governor Gavin Newsom has taken significant steps here to expedite the rebuilding process. But I have some problems here. So he signed an executive order suspending permitting and review requirements under the California Environmental Quality Act and the California Coastal Act to allow faster restoration of damaged properties. Why is that act there in the first place? So I agree with suspending it, or I think it should be eliminated. Why is it there? That's the bigger problem I have. Governor Newsom has also directed state agencies to identify additional permitting requirements that can be safely streamlined to accelerate rebuilding and make it more affordable. He extended protections against price gouging on building materials, storage services, and construction. I don't know why they call it all the way until January 7th of 2026 in Los Angeles County. I don't know why they call it price gouging, because I don't know if is it price gouging or is it just supply and demand. So I don't know about that one. It sounds like their typical that sounds like their typical government overreach type of thing. But the bottom line is, I want everybody to be able to. It doesn't matter how big or small your home was. Mayor Karen Bass has vowed to conduct a thorough investigation. She said, quote, "We will certainly evaluate what was effective, what fell short, and hold accountable anyone or any department involved." Now, how about you start with yourself in resigning? The Federal Emergency Management Agency, also known as FEMA, identified the Los Angeles County as the most vulnerable county in the United States to natural disasters. We do not know, to my knowledge, if this was a natural disaster. A lot of rumors, a lot of conspiracy out there, but I don't think we have confirmed that it is a national disaster, no matter if all the blue hairs are screaming climate. Researchers are studying the effectiveness of current wildfire prevention strategies, and they're looking at a focus of updating construction standards. If the whole thing's burned to the ground, there should be some type of sprinkler system. I was looking at this town in Japan. There was a town in Japan that set up a sprinkler system that looked pretty amazing. The sprinklers turn on, obviously, in case of emergency, and they stop fires from getting out of control. And I don't know how they don't have that set up. I know that the salt water poses somewhat of a problem because it is very corrosive. But this user, Nyla Bruce, posted it here. This is very true. And I'm going to show it on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. Nyla said, when your government actually cares about you, this is what it looks like. When your government cares about you, they spend your tax dollars on things that help you. Japan's fire prevention water jet system. I saw the meme. I wanted to look to see if it was true, so I did look it up on AI, and here's what I got. The picture shows a fire prevention system in Shirakawa-go, Japan. This town has water cannons that automatically protect historic houses with thatched roofs from fires. In 2019, these water cannons stopped a fire near the area, saving the historic homes. Japanese companies have also created firefighting systems that use mist to fight fires with less water. One example is the jet fire fogging system, which works well for different fire situations while using minimal water. We have also seen drones fighting fire in China. Here's a video. I'm going to show a video of drones fighting fire in China. These drones have basically a hose connected to them. Some of them just picked up some water, and they're literally flying around, spraying the water and taking out the fire. And we've got to do better. But again, California, you've got to want better first.
The next clip is ready below. Welcome to After Show Carnage.